Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to finish off this week's theme of bad songs with a song called Red Solo Cup from Toby Keith. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know that I've heard this song. But looking at this thumbnail, I wish I could have kept that statement true past today. I don't know. I'm going to go in with an open mind. As usual, going to approach this like I do with every song. But I think this is the first time that I've been real scared about a song based on the thumbnail, and not because it was grotesque or violent or anything like that with a lot of extreme metal covers. So let's dive into Toby Keith's Red Solo Cup.
Now, Red Solo Cup is the best receptacle for barbecues, tailgates, fairs, and festivals, and you, sir, do not have a pair of testicles if you prefer drinking from glass. Hey, Red Solo Cup is cheap and disposable. In 14 years, they are decomposable, and unlike my home, they are not foreclosable. Freddie Mac kissed my ass. Woo! Red Solo Cup, I fill you up. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. I love you, Red Solo Cup. I lift you up. Proceed to party. Proceed to party. Now, I really love how you're easy to stack, but I really hate how you're easy to crack. Because when beer runs down the front of my back, well, that, my friends, is quite yucky. But I have to admit that the ladies get smitten, admiring how sharply my first name is written on you with a Sharpie when I get to hitting on them to help me get lucky. Red Solo Cup, I fill you up. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. I love you, Red Solo Cup. I lift you up. Proceed to party. Proceed to party. Now, I've seen you in blue and I've seen you in yellow, but only you, Red, will do for this fella. Cause you are the Abbott into my Costello, and you are the fruit to my loom. Red Solo Cup, you're more than just plastic. You're more than amazing. You're more than fantastic. And believe me that I'm not the least bit sarcastic when I look at you and say, Red Solo Cup, you're not just a cup.
No, God, no.
You're my friend.
Friend.
Yeah.
Lifelong.
Thank you for being my friend. Red Solo Cup, I fill you up. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. I love you, Red Solo Cup. I lift you up. Proceed to party. Proceed to party. Woo! Red Solo Cup. Red Solo. I fill you up. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. Red Solo Cup. Red Solo Cup. I fill you up. Let's have a party. Proceed to party. Solo Cup. Ba-do. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah! Ba-do. Ba-do-dee-da-do. Dee-da-ba. Doo-dee-da-ba.
Why? Why did you guys make me listen to that? Okay. I, off the top of my head, do not know any other Toby Keith songs. Uh, that comes with the disclaimer, like most of the times I say I don't know something, that it's very possible I have heard a song of his, just did not have the name to tie to it. So I'm not sure how to come at this song, because to me it feels facetious. That is to say, I don't believe it was done in earnest. And that's a weird way to go about looking at this track, but I don't know if the vocal delivery is typical. The music, I mean, it follows a typical A B. In fact, there's not even a bridge. It's just bouncing back and forth between. Oh no, the bridge was the part where he was gazing at the cup in the sky. So there was a bridge. So yeah, A B A B C B. And we stick with pretty much one key through the whole song, two chord progressions, one for the verse and one for the chorus, but very stereotypical four chord progressions. Yeah. I was thinking maybe the chorus was two chords, but no, it was a four chord. Um, just country blues kind of stuff, right? There's nothing real special going on in the music, which I kind of expect out of this type of pop country, right? This says the video came out in 2011. I'm going to assume the album was possibly the same year, maybe the previous year, but generally around that time is where I'm going to assume the album came out when the song was actually fully released. And 2010s country was kind of moving in this direction of what I call pop country, where it's still country feeling, but it's certainly not based on a lot of the ideas of country from like the 50s and 60s. It has taken on more production value, rhythmic concepts, overall vibes and feelings and tones from pop music. And has become more palatable in a way. It's this rebranding that I think started in Nashville, sort of rebranding of what country music was to make it palatable to hopefully a younger audience. And this is where that sits for me musically. It's pop country, but lyrically, or I should say vocally, it is lyrically, it's certainly pop country. I could not imagine any, original big name country singers, 40s, 50s, 60s, being or receiving this song positively. I should say, at least on the lyrical level. Music evolves, and we have the gatekeepers of the old not really liking the music of the new. That's typical. That happens, whatever. But the lyrics, I think, um, older country singers would have something to say about. Just kind of the vibe I get. Um, so musically, lyrically, it's very poppy, but vocally, it's kind of rap. Like, okay, so obviously it's not technical rap, the kind of stuff we expect from some of the best rappers out there. That is highly rhythmically diverse, utilizing multiple variations of polyrhythm or polyrhythmic concepts and multiple cadences, right? We're kind of missing all that, but it is spoken word in a rhythmic pattern to music, which to me, even though it is rather basic, is rap. Not to mention that there are some interline rhyme schemes going on that do put it above a little, or do put it a little bit above the standard last syllable of a line rhyming. So the rhythmic aspect of the rapping is fairly basic, but I would say that the rhyming aspect and the syllabic choices are not. It's a little over that. This is somebody who, at least in my books, is not a novice rapper. The speed and the rhythmic technicality aren't there, but the poetic writing, the use of the language, does show somebody who understands how to create poetic writing. And it puts it in an interesting place where it feels both tongue in cheek while also being competently created. This is sort of the opposite side of Corey Feldman's Duh, which I have been explained to that it was not done satirically, that he honestly believes he's making phenomenal music. But coming from my original place of purposely being created poorly to prove a point, this is sort of the opposite, where it's purposely created very well, but it feels like it's also making fun of very well done music. Um, Although maybe making fun of is pushing it a little bit far. It almost, okay, so here's what it feels like to me. It feels like a people will buy anything kind of vibe. And again, I don't know if that's just because I don't know Toby Keith's work. Maybe this is 100% in line with his style. But to me, it is this weird mashup between country, rap, and pop. Not hip hop. I'm not including hip hop in there. Rapping vocal delivery with pop and country music that feels very low effort but highly produced. And that combination of sounds like a lot of work went into it production wise. So it sounds like a good song, not musically, the sound of it, the soundscape, the atmosphere, the placement of the instruments, that all makes it sound like a good song. Musically, though, it is very low effort. Well, again, and I want to rephrase that. It sounds low effort. I'm not going to say that no effort went into it. Like I've mentioned before, it takes a lot of effort to make anything sound low effort. So, like I've said before about pop music specifically, a lot of work goes into making simple, catchy music. It is a skill that not a lot of people have, and it is difficult to do. So I do want to, mention that even though this sounds low effort, I'm not saying that it was sloppily put together or quickly arranged or anything like that. I don't know what went into the creation of this track, but to me, it has the it has the vibe of being low effort. The lyrics are simple, the music is simple, the even just the vocal delivery. It's just ba 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 ba. It's very low effort, low energy, right? It's just kind of whatever. The whole song feels kind of whatever. And that paired with the strong production and the fact that it's a single and that it had a music video created for it, not even a lyric video. Granted, 2011, I don't remember if lyric videos were kind of big back then. Nowadays, they're kind of a way to put a single out with the music video without having to film anything. Um, but, they went through all the trouble to put all this marketing behind it. And it's really not that great of a song. I mean, again, what is a good song? We got to get into, what that is, but it's very well produced, very well performed, and has 63 million views. So by most metrics, it is a successful, good song. And I don't know where to come at it from there. Like, how do I feel about this song? Let's dive into the lyrics, right? Because we looked at the music. It's simple. There's a guitar chord progression, there's a simple drumming, and then there's spoken word or group vocals over that, right? It's a very simplistic song. There's nothing really to dive into there. But I want to look into the lyrics real quick and see what's going on. And maybe go from there and see what my thoughts are about this track. Now, I picked up on a lot of the vocals as I was listening, but so it's a song that's primarily about the red Solo cup, right? But there's also some weird gatekeepery stuff coming on in here, right? So, at the beginning, I think it's very innocuous. The red Solo cup is the best cup for barbecues, tailgates, fairs, and festivals. You know what? We're off to a fine start. You love something, you're singing about your love for it. I got nothing to say about that. But then he says, and you, sir, putting in sir, the only time that he's ever referenced a specific gender in the entire song, I believe. Oh, no. He does bring up ladies at one point later on. Yeah. So, very specifically talking to men here, or at least who he perceives to be men, I'm going to wager. You don't have a pair of testicles if you drink from glass. Gatekeeping number one. Ah. And then he says it's cheap and disposable. In 14 years, they're decomposable. And unlike my home, they're not foreclosable. Is this something about his life? He specifically references somebody he doesn't seem to enjoy, this Freddie Mac character. I don't know. Interestingly though, this is something that happens in rap, or specifically I should say hip hop, and is one of my biggest hurdles getting into it is all of the referential lines that reference events or people or brands or anything outside of the song. This shows up a lot in hip hop culture, and I do think it's interesting that while I referenced that he was rapping, he is introducing this right here. And then the chorus, which I think is the thesis statement for the whole song. Red Solo cup, I fill you up, let's have a party. You don't get more clearer than that. Verse 2 just continues to sing about things. They stack well and they also break, and not happy about them breaking. Now, interestingly, we shift perspective to something that's totally unrelated. I have to admit the ladies get smitten, admiring at how sharply my first name is written on you with a Sharpie when I get to hitting on them to help me get lucky. And I felt this was super creepy. Maybe this was just me. It's not so bad in the context of the song. So he says, actually, it is kind of creepy because he says that he hits on women and uses his status as a celebrity to help him get laid. And like that power dynamic being introduced there that is a huge red flag. But then also in the music video, the person that he's hitting on and signing their Sharpie is like half his age, and like I'm gonna talk about that in a moment. But the whole music video was real weird, and I think it really colored some of my relationship to the song while I was listening to it, because we'll get to it. Let's hit the lyrics first, right? We got to lay down some of these thematic ideas. Because we don't really have any strong thematic. Well, actually, we do have a strong thematic element in the music, and it's just laid back and chill, which I think works well for this party culture stuff going on in the lyrics. So there is some symmetry there, where one theme helps build the other. He goes on to say that there's other colors, but they're not as good. Gatekeeping number 2. He says, you're the abbot to my Costello. Okay. I think that works. He really enjoys the company of this red Solo cup. He really has this affinity towards it for whatever reason. I'm not trying to tell him how to live his life. But then he says, "You are the fruit to my loom." And I feel like he's trying to put a play on words with the brand Fruit of the Loom, who make clothing. But it feels like, it just doesn't work. It's an allusion to a brand, but it doesn't perfectly allude to it because they had to change one of the words. And then fruit to my loom, unless there's a different kind of loom, I don't think that that works perfectly. Maybe I'm just missing a definition there. But I don't think it works on either level. Red Solo Cup, you're more than plastic. You're more than amazing. You're more than fantastic. And believe me, I'm not the least bit sarcastic when I look at you and say. Again, just praising the cup. It's very weird. I just realized how product placement y this is. It makes me wonder how much money he got for this song from Solo. And then the bridge, "You're not a cup, you're my friend. Thank you for being my friend." This makes me think that Toby Keith is a very lonely person. He's surrounded by all these people at the party, surrounded by his bandmates, but maybe he can't really be himself around them. He only knows how to take the mask off when he's drinking. The song's very sad, but I think relatable for a lot of people. Not particularly because they find some sort of affinity with the red Solo cup, but because they don't have a way to express who they are without the help of alcohol. Anyways, we finished the song up with the chorus repeated a couple of times. And I think this is where, okay, so there's the synergy here, right? We have drinking party culture and this chill, laid back song with group vocals. Like, I think musically everything lines up really well here. It's produced well. I don't think it's a bad song in that very small, concentrated lens. It's simple, but it's designed to be catchy. It has a strong hook, and there's strong cohesion between the lyrical and musical themes. But here's my problem, is that it feels contradictory on so many levels, and I think this is what makes it a bad song for me. Because we have this person who is seemingly very down to earth. They like to drink. They like to drink in with cheap cups, right? He even said, "You're not a real man if you drink your beer from glass." Which, glass bottles, man. I know at a party we get kegs and stuff, but does he buy bottles of beer at home and then pour them into a Solo cup? And we're going to get on that in a second. We're going to get on that in a second. Um, we're going to get on that right now. I forgot what we were talking about. He speaks like he is a man of the earth, like everyone else. He just likes to go partying. He uses cheap cups. He goes to these parties with average Joes all around him, right? But he's not an average Joe. He's Toby Keith. Something tells me he does not use red Solo cups all the time. In fact, I'd wager he rarely uses them. To me, this is a song that says, "Hey, I'm just like you." Even though he's really not. He is a very popular celebrity in country music and probably some sort of millionaire. So right off the bat, I'm already not believing anything he says. Not to mention, later on during the song, he even admits that he's not like everyone else. There is status to him. He can try to swoon people with a signature. That's not a power a lot of people have, especially not a lot of people who are going to use red solo cups at a party. So we have this very disingenuous person who is professing his love for an inanimate object that feels extremely like product placement. And it turns this entire thing into feeling like an ad that the person pushing does not support. And it just becomes to a point where it feels very, very corporate. And that's where the clean production comes in. And that's where the mismatch of ideas come in. Like, this feels very focus tested. How do we get this song to be loved by as many people as possible? Make it poppy and catchy. Give it group vocals so that people will feel more inclined to sing together. Give it ridiculously simple chorus so that people will be inclined to sing it together. The more people who sing it together, the more popular it becomes. It gets stuck in people's heads and they go and listen to it. Those listens are money. Views, listens on Spotify, whatever. It's all money. It also puts the brand in people's minds, right? We have the pop element, we have the rapping. I don't know if it's actually going to bring in people who enjoy hip hop music, but it might, right? Also, rapping is not really looked down upon in pop. Pop has its fair share of rapping in it. So it's not like it's being hurt by doing that. In fact, it improves its chances of having a wider audience. And it also brings a bit of the country, redneck, low income, lower class people into the picture as well. It isn't, a snooty person, a snooty Californian, tweener. It's the second time I said tween, or somebody who targets tweens, singing this, right? It's not whatever your big pop star at the moment might be, right? Is this blue collar down to earth guy. It just feels extremely calculated on every single level. And that to me makes it feel like a bad song despite its popularity, despite its production and effort and performance. Everything about it is meticulously done for maximum listenability and infectiousness to push both Toby Keith as a brand, specifically as a brand who would feel like your average Joe, yet despite that probably does not, while also to push the red solo cups. The next time you go to a party, what kind of cup are you going to buy? And through all of that, because I now see it as an advertisement, I immediately do not enjoy it. There's a big difference between an earworm that you don't like on the surface but can't help but recognize how catchy it is, and an earworm to an advertisement that you hate is stuck in your mind. And that's where this sits. I now think less of Toby Keith and Red Solo Cup. I have a negative association with both of them because I have had to listen to this song now. I mean, the chorus is stuck in my head. I do not want it to be stuck there. I cannot even appreciate what it is because it is a lie. I do not like having a lie take up so much space in my mind. It feels fake. It is no longer facetious. It is now intentionally demeaning. And I think I might agree here that this is a bad song. And the interesting thing is, like I've talked all week about who makes songs and if that is important. If this song had come from an up-and-coming artist, someone with no following, 100 subscribers or whatever, it would feel more sincere and I would not have such an adverse reaction to it. It really is a bad song because of its context, which is something we've discussed all week. Even going back to my pal Foot, I've had some really good conversations in the comments as well as the Discord server regarding if it is actually bad or not. And like I posed in that reaction itself, if it was released by an established artist, would we still even consider it bad, or would we just consider it as avant-garde art? And I think that it's real that context of who releases a song, who creates it, is really important. And right here, again, it feels really important, although on the inverse. I feel like this song would not have as bad of a reputation, especially, well, at least in this circle. I don't know how the majority of the world feels about this track. In these circles, though, it has been presented to me as a bad song. But it is catchy. It is well produced. Obviously, people like it. 20 million views or whatever it had. But it doesn't feel like art to me. And music that isn't art feels like an abomination. I don't enjoy corporate music. I really don't. And this is my bias coming into it. Even, even in this conversation right here, I don't know that I can completely say objectively this is a bad song. I'm sure there are people who enjoy it. It's their favorite song, best thing they've ever heard. In that case, it's a good song to them. But as for me and what I believe music is and can do and should be utilized for, selling a brand is not something I enjoy hearing music created for. And that's what I feel listening to this. And that makes me feel like it's a bad song. It was not created with art in mind. It was created with business in mind. But also, I mean, it's just really creepy that this 30-year-old, 35, 36, 40 maybe even year old dude is sitting around a college party. Like the whole music video just screams creep vibes. I don't like the music video at all. It is just really, really weird. I don't know, man. Those are my thoughts on Toby Keith's Red Solo Cup. That's where you guys come in. Let me know how you feel about it, right? I mean, like I said, it's not... I already said what I said. Let me know in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about this one. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, anything you'd like to add that maybe I didn't touch on. Above the comment section is a description box, and there is a link for Linktree. Take you to this menu right here, has everything related to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter, join the Discord server, join the Patreon, pick up some merch, submit some special selections. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Go ahead and check it out. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. We have one more video coming out. Came out 3 minutes ago. It is our creator request for the day. There is going to be a giveaway associated with it, so make sure you watch and follow the instructions if you'd like to pick up a digital copy of the album that the song comes off of. It's a black metal band. They're up and coming. They hit me up with a couple of keys to give away their album, so I'm pretty excited to work with them on that. All right. If not, Saturday we have our tomorrow. We have our album reaction. Sunday, there is no Patreon live stream, and we'll be back Monday checking out our next theme. All right, until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.